Greetings. Today we continue our study in the book of Revelation chapter 10. We're on part 4 of the foreshadowing of the seventh trumpet. We left off looking at the command in verse 8. We'll pick up today considering the two imperatives or commands that was given to John. You go and you receive the book. I find it interesting that John was not told to go and take the book. Rather, he was told to go and receive the book. Which book? I think it must be the having been opened and remaining so upon the hand of the messenger, having stood and remaining standing upon the sea and the earth. This becomes a very specific instruction, which all the modifiers and limiters which are included. Verse 9 tells us about the obedience of John. And I went toward the messenger, saying to him, you give to me the small book, and he saying to me, you receive it, and you eat it up completely, and it shall make bitter your particular stomach, but in your particular mouth it shall be sweet just as honey. John proceeds as instructed and requests the book. The messenger now gives further instructions. You receive the book and you completely eat it up. The instructions come with a disclaimer. It will be as sweet as honey in your mouth, but bitter in your belly. I believe most of us, if not all of us, have had a similar experience in eating something that was very tasty, but did not sit well upon our stomach afterwards. In this case, I do not think it hard to understand that the contents of the book are the Word of God, which are sweet, but here the judgment of God yet to come being emphasized is bitter, thus bittersweet. Sweet victory in Jesus, bitter defeat without Jesus. Then we'll notice the sickness of John in verse 10. And I received the small book out of the hand of the messenger, and I ate it, that is the small book, up completely. And it was being in my particular mouth, just as sweet as honey. And when I ate it, my particular stomach was made bitter. As soon as John obeyed the instructions given to him, he found the book was sweet to the taste in his mouth. And also as soon as he had eaten it, his belly was made bitter. Have you really ever had a really sick stomach? You know, the projectile vomiting variety of a really sick stomach. Then you could probably understand John's condition. Unless you've been so sick that you think you would have to get better in order to die, then you might not understand John's condition. But then let's notice the affirmation to John in verse 11. And he saying to me, it's being necessary for you again to prophesy before many peoples, that is social groups, and nations, that's ethnic groups, and tongues, that's language groups, and kings. You see, unless we truly understand the degree of the sickness spoken of in Revelation 10:10, then we will not correctly understand the words spoken to John in Revelation chapter 10, verse 11. Let me offer a plausible paraphrase. No, John, you're not going to die from this. You have work left to do. Since the very next verse, Revelation 11:1, deals with the two witnesses, some have tried to press the words of Revelation 10:11 to mean that John will be one of the two witnesses. And I might add, along with the often misunderstood and misapplied words of John 21:22, to make John one of the two witnesses. Simply stated as we close, John would not die of the sickness he was experiencing. He would live to finish the revelation and minister to others. I ask, do you and I comprehend the bittersweetness of the implication of the 7 vials of God's judgment which he will bring upon this earth? Are we persuading men, knowing the terror of the Lord, as Paul admonished the Corinthians in 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 11? I close by saying we should be doing so.